All right, for more on this story, I'm joined now by Ali Vaez. He's the Iran project director at the International Crisis Group. Ali, what are your expectations for how this election will go?
Well, as your reporter said, we're probably going to witness low voter turnout, and it appears that the result is already preordained, and Ebrahim Raisi is going to become Iran's eighth president.
I know that in polls, Raisi has between 60 to 75% popularity among those who will vote, but we know that voter turnout will be very low, is expected to be very low. What does that signify to you?
Well, it signifies that the system in Iran has stacked the deck in order to make sure that Raisi wins without serious challenge from anybody else. There is now, in the past few days, there's been a mobilization by reformist and more moderate forces of Iranian politics around a relatively unknown candidate who belongs to that faction, Mr. Hemmati. But all the surveys demonstrate that the gap between him and Mr. Raisi is really unbridgeable. And again, this is designed because the system in Iran did not want Raisi to once again lose.
And how is this low voter turnout, this apathy for this election being viewed in Iran? Is this something that's sending a message to the government?
Well, some people see it that way, but the reality is that, at the end of the day, the system itself this time cares much more about the outcome of the elections than the turnout. Turnout was always a pillar of the system's legitimacy, but this time around, because what's at stake is not just the question of presidency, but the succession of the 82-year-old supreme leader, Ayatollah Khamenei, the stakes are much higher for the Islamic Republic, and I think it doesn't care as much about voter participation.
As far as Raisi, who most certainly seems like he will win, what does he look like in terms of a leader for Iran, and what does this mean as far as potential change in Iran?
Well, he really doesn't have much experience outside of Iran's judiciary, and in the judiciary, his record is rather sordid. He was involved in a mass execution of prisoners in the late 1980s and is therefore sanctioned by the European Union and the United States. I think the only reason that the system has chosen him as its anointed favorite candidate is because he's a tested and loyal ally to the supreme leader. And again, someone that at this critical juncture for the Islamic Republic, when it's entering into its next chapter with probably the next supreme leader, it wanted to have someone that it can trust. And this is the first president, I would say, that has served under Ayatollah Khamenei that owes everything he has to the current supreme leader.
All right, we'll leave it there. Ali Vaez joining us from Washington, D.C. Thank you.